Hello, everybody. Welcome to Viewers' Voices, the weekly show on which I focus on responses I've received from people who watch Donu's World videos on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Now, this week's video is late. It should have come out yesterday, but I'm in Accra, the capital of Ghana, at the moment. I'll tell you what I'm doing here in next Friday's video. Just suffice it to say for now that I came with a group of people and we've had a really busy schedule this weekend. And yesterday we went out really early, came back really late to our hotel, and I didn't have the energy to record anything. And it's the same thing this morning. Early starts, busy. Anyway, it's lunchtime now, so let me quickly whiz through some of the comments that have been received in the past week. Okay, so actually nobody responded to last Sunday's video, which is fine. And last Wednesday's video, which is Nigeria Unfiltered, that's when I talk about Nigerian issues. Wednesdays, there are just like 3 videos from 2 people, messages from 2 people. One is Patricia Wask, one of my regulars, very well informed about what's going on in Nigeria, even though she's a white American lady. And I think I've said this before, I admire her greatly for her interest in the detail. And she says, the savage brutality of this barbarity must end. This last Wednesday's video was about the killings of Christians and Muslims in northern Nigeria by Muslim terrorist groups or criminals or bandits or whatever. There's a lot of controversy around this issue, and President Trump has actually intervened and threatens to more or less invade Nigeria to defend the Christians who are being murdered, which I don't think is a good idea. But we'll talk about that in more detail in a couple of days' time, because I'm going to do a follow-up on the Wednesday program, which is coming up this week. In the meantime, let's just say that last Wednesday was like part 1. This Wednesday will be like part 2, and Patricia is responding to part 1, where she says the brutality must end. Where there's life, there's hope. Where there's rape, torture, murders, and massacre, there is death. Killing human beings is horrific and hateful and evil. Patricia goes on to say that she hates hearing about this kind of thing. Every human being is precious and we need to celebrate life. Here. Okay, so then there are 2 messages from someone called Bright Bites K. Don't know if it's a man or a woman. And Bright Bites says, everyone saw the viral video of Fulani terrorists from the Sahel about 3 years ago, finalizing their moves to enter Nigeria to establish what they called their eternal homeland. Okay? Well, you're wrong, Bright Bites. Not everybody has seen this viral video. I haven't. And what I would like to request, is that when you have watched my Wednesday video, which I'm doing in a couple of days' time, you post a link of this viral video underneath Wednesday's Nigeria Unfiltered video, and so we can all see what you're talking about. But for those who don't know anything about the terrain, what he means by Fulani is a particular tribe, a small tribe of Muslims in Nigeria, some of whom are terrorists, but obviously most of whom are not. And then when he refers, or she, Bright Bites, refers to the Sahel, it's talking about a particular part of West Africa where there's a lot of stuff going on that's really negative and depressing. So I'm afraid, I'm the worst. I'm the last person who can intelligently explain it to you. You need to Google if you're interested in the details. Okay, so Bright Bite says, we ignored it, of course, when at the same time, the former president of Nigeria, Obasanjo, accused the then President Buhari of a Fulanization agenda. Today, we're seeing the effects of their terrorist action and we're blaming it on religion, making light of clear ethnic cleansing going on before our eyes. Well, yeah. And then Bright Bites left another message saying, why are they dying? Must they die? Who's responsible for their security? Can we say that he has failed? I suppose you're talking about President Tinubu when you ask whether we can say that he has failed. If you mean Tinubu, yes, we can say he has failed. Not just him, but all previous heads of state who have been in charge while this carnage has been going on. The details, the stuff you're talking about generally, I'm not very clear. It seems to me that you're making points that would be best included in a more detailed essay. But thanks for responding anyway. Okay, so let's move on to last Friday's video, Donu's week. First message is from Emma J Music, congratulating me on solving my breathing problem because, you know, I have lungs damaged by years of heavy smoking, and my doctor gave me a really good medication that's improved my breathing a lot. And Emma says she wishes she had never smoked. I'm kind of glad I smoked because I gained so much pleasure from it. I just wish I had stopped much, much sooner, you know? Anyway, then Emma says she agrees with me about Prince Andrew, the British prince whose title has been taken away from him. She says, throughout history, there have been all manner of royal characters known instantly using a sobriquet, e.g. Bloody Mary. Yes, she's talking about Queen Mary, who was famous for killing Protestants. And what Emma says is, a punishment should not include a cancel culture style by removing his birthright title. But surely banishment and removal of other given titles shows the absolute disgrace. He's a member of the royal family, and good or rotten, why now hide that fact? But I think it's so superficial because everybody knows he's Prince Andrew. You could call him, you know, John Smith if you like, but he's still Prince Andrew in my opinion, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. So anyway, Emma says, oh well, I guess it's the modern off with his head. The tsunami of hatred online shook me, and I have never liked the Yorks. Yeah. Andrew's in deep doo-doo with the British public. They just, you know, they recently did a poll and he got 4%, okay? Just 4% approval rating. That's pretty poor, okay? Right, so next message is from Vio Gulu, who's my cousin. Hello, darling. And she says, Auntie D, I'm so happy to know that your health is improving. Oh, so am I. And I hope I see you soon in Abuja, okay? In fact, to everybody who contacts me, Emma, Pat, all the people who wish me well. Of course, most of you I will never meet, but at least I can see Vera soon. And then there's one from Pat here saying, good morning, Donu, from Bridgeport, West Virginia, USA. I am so happy to hear your health, energy, breathing, and physical strength are all improved. It's wonderful to hear you're much happier as well. Hooray! And like Emma, Patricia wants to talk about Prince Andrew, and she says, as for formerly HRH Prince Andrew, Mountbatten Windsor, his entire life of unearned royal entitlement, monumental dishonesty, massive greed, disgusting immorality, and abusive arrogance has led him to where he finds himself now. Well, that's true for sure. I feel sorry for the struggling, cancer-ridden King Charles having to take these actions against his own brother. In my humble opinion, Andrew brought this upon himself. Well, of course he did, Patricia. Of course he did. Nobody argues about that. The issue really for me was whether you can stop being a prince just because you're badly behaved. You know, it's like, can I stop being Donu Kabara just because I'm an asshole? You know, and I don't think you can, but matter of opinion. So she says she feels sorry for the daughters of Andrew, their Royal Highnesses, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. She even feels a bit sorry for Sarah Ferguson, the ex-wife, although her behavior has been poor too. It is sad to see their downfall. I know what you mean, Patricia, because even though I'm just disgusted by the behavior of Andrew and his wife, they're both so greedy and you know, sleazy. I actually don't like watching people who've been up there hitting the gutter. It doesn't give me much pleasure, you know. The thought of somebody who was held in high esteem by the society suddenly becoming such a pariah that they're saying he's not even going to be invited to royal family Christmas lunches. It all seems rather tragic. It gives me no pleasure to imagine that happening to somebody, even if he brought it upon himself. Okay, so also going to quickly look at a couple of comments that came in through Facebook rather than through YouTube. IK Okwesa, Shola Fashure, Dixon Igwe, and Apostle Christian Cabo all sent messages which frankly are very, thought-provoking and worthwhile, but probably too long to be, mentioned here in any detail. So we're just going to post them on the video so that people who are interested can go through them. And I just want to thank you guys for joining the discussion. And to say I agree with some of the points you've made and not with other points you've made. And isn't that the whole thing about life that's so interesting, is that we all have different opinions about different things, and life would be so dull if we were always on the same page. Thank you very much. See you on Wednesday.